Genesis. Show my hardcore is.
I'm DC. Today we're going to go over basically part 3 of our breathing hacks to make sure that you're able to maximize the oxygen you're able to take in during a workout, in between workouts during competitions, and do so as effortlessly as possible. Part 1, which I put a link below, we talk about the specific way to breathe to make sure that you're maximally filling your lungs maximally with as much air and oxygen as possible, as well as exhaling to basically empty it out in a good controlled way to make If you missed part 1, there's a link below. I talk about the type of technique called belly breathing that we like to use in our workouts, also in everyday just life to make sure that we're used to that type of breathing, so our workouts can be utilized in our workouts as effectively and easily as possible. In part 2, there's a link to that video below as well. It covers more about breathing ladders in terms of using weights and exercises to teach muscular endurance, how to slow your breathing down to get the most out of your breath so you're able to rest and recover as quickly and efficiently as possible. Part 3 of our breathing hacks portion is we're going to talk a little bit more about breathing ladders, but more on the panic side, which is something that I'd never done before until I started studying more about just efficient ways to maximize the oxygen use in your body, and started looking more of how people like SEALs, free divers, those type of people who don't always, they have to train themselves not to panic when their body is short on air and still function and still process stuff that needs to be done until that oxygen supply is able to come back to them. I equated that back over to basically a miserable CrossFit workout where you're dying and you're not going to catch your breath. Back in the mind, whenever in the back of your mind, whenever you break in a certain movement or a certain skill, that it's just a mental thing because that brain's panicked. You know that you're not actually going to fully recover, but it's that mind saying a couple breaths, we'll get back going, a couple breaths will feel better. It never really happens. You don't feel better when you grab the bar unless you're spending way too much time, breaking. So the goal is to train that mind more so than anything, that even whenever the body's low on oxygen or totally deprived, that it can still function for a short period of time until it gets a transition, until you're able to complete that round or that set and set the barbell down without breaking in the middle, not coming off the bar. You're able to finish to make sure that you're getting, your time stays quick, and then during that transition into the next exercise is whenever your body, using the belly breathing method stuff, is able to take in the air, your brain's able to kind of reset, think about what's going on, get back on and repeat. Panic breathing ladders, really 2 different ways. The first way is just, you can do it at home, you can do it wherever. It's just sitting on your couch, whatever you got. It really doesn't have to be done inside a gym. All you need for that is a stopwatch or some type of clock where you can see the seconds. And if you watch part 1, there's the 4 phases of breathing. Basically, with this is we are doing each one of those in 2 seconds. The goal of the panic breathing ladder is you inhale. The amount of time you inhale is the amount of time you hold, is the amount of time you exhale, and the amount of time you hold with basically vacant, empty lungs. So I always like to start with 2 seconds just so you can kind of get that pace. We'll go 2 breath cycles, so 2 seconds in, 2 second hold, 2 second exhale, 2 second hold with empty lungs. 2 cycles through. If that's not a big deal, if that's easy, we go from 2 cycles or 2 seconds to 4 seconds. 4 second in, 4 second hold, 4 second out, 4 second hold with air and oxygen totally expelled. 2 rounds of that. If we go 4 seconds nice and easy, 6 seconds, you kind of get the point. One of the big keys that is you want to make sure you do not cheat this. So whatever your time frame is, if it's 6 seconds in, 6 seconds hold, 6 seconds out, 6 second empty hold, is that 6 second exhalation, just like I talked about in part 1 where the phase 3 is the most important key. That 6-second exhalation, all the air has to be out of your lungs before that time is up. Same thing with the inhalation is you can't, like, you have to train to suck it in at that amount of time. So it's not, 2 seconds and then just hold for the rest of the 6 and then the other 6 and then exhale. It's learn to pace your breathing so the full 6 seconds, so you're maximizing the oxygen intake, you're maximizing the 6-second hold or 4-second hold, you're maximizing the exhalation by getting all the air out through that course, not if you're on 6 seconds, not blowing it out as hard as you can in those first second or two and then having to hold for 10 to 12 seconds. It's start and finish every phase correctly. 6 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, 12 seconds, so on and so forth. I like to go 2s. Makes it easy to just kind of follow. 12 is whenever it starts getting tricky, is when you really start feeling that panicked suffocation stage where the mind just starts freaking out. It's something that you definitely want to, for me personally, definitely something that you want to really train. You kind of hit that meditative, relaxed state. Teach the mind not to freak out, that everything's be okay, kind of overcome that panic situation so it's able to carry over into your workouts. So what happens if you do hit, when you hit that panicked time frame that works for you, is we like to go down basically 1 second. So if it's 12s, you can either go to 11s. If 11s still don't work, go to 10s, but we like to go down 1 second. 1 second seems to just kind of calm us back down, give us that mental push, knowing that we can finish it. And so for the 12s, I go 11s. 11 second in, 11 second hold, so 22 seconds, 11 second out at 33 seconds, and then 44 seconds I can take my next breath. So that is going to be when it's really, really tough, and you will feel like you're suffocating because you will have no air in your lungs. And what's really the key to it and what makes it so effective is not just being able to control the panic and hold that fully exhaled portion. It's when you are allowed to inhale, not just hitting that inhale breath to kind of hit survival mode. It's being able to train yourself to slow that down so you're able to maximize that, or inhale that entire next period of 10 to 12 or whatever seconds you're on. So that is the main way you can do it at home anytime. I like to cycle basically a minute. Once I find that panic state, a minute panicked, a minute just normal belly breathing where we talked about in part 1. There was the 4 in, 2 hold, 4 out, 2 hold, that type of thing. A minute. You can push it, play with what feels best, but a minute of each. Cycles 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes. Kind of really, I do it until I get bored or just really get tired of being in that panic state and need a break, mental break. It is something that you will probably start sweating and your brain is going to feel exhausted afterwards because hormones in that panic state and that autonomic nervous system, that fight or flight syndrome is going to kick in. You're going to you're going to have to resist the breath, and so it's something that is going to tire you out and really basically make you exhausted. So don't overdo it on that. So what we do, another way we do this when we take this is we will put these type of breathing ladders in after an interval. This is when it really gets bad because now the body desperately wants air. Not a super intense interval, well maybe, depending on what we're doing. We typically, if it's an air dyne, 30 seconds, pretty much all out. If it's a row, a minute. If it's a run, 2 minutes. Pretty much you're going to go an all-out sprint, and then we go a minute of breathing ladder, of the panic breathing ladders. Typically, whatever you get here, you might be able to get about half that in that fatigued panic state. And because your body desperately needs oxygen, you'll just start kind of trying to, because you're not supposed to be breathing, but the body's trying to force you to breathe. So really start off slow and short with those. Don't black out, don't be dumb. Take it, work your way up. Typically when I do my interval type fatigued breathing ladders, I'm a 4 to 5 to 6 second guy. And again, it's just mostly working on not panicking and then more so breathing controlled right when I come out of that space. So, 30-second bike, a minute row, 2-minute run, something like that, and then a minute of the breathing intervals, and then 1 to 2 minutes, whenever you feel good. normal breathing, the 4-2-4-2, or just controlled breathing, making sure you're staying back into your nose, out your nose, you're not having to use your mouth. Repeat, we'll typically do that for 3 to 6 cycles or rounds before, again, we really fatigue, and it just kind of just basically really wears on you. So give, you know, if you really want to try that and you want to learn, teach that body to operate on shorter or, you know, a short supply of oxygen, or, you know, really fight that panic feeling that you feel whenever you have heavy loads on you and you're trying to breathe and you're in the middle of a workout, you have no air. These are great things to really focus on. They're not to be done all the time, kind of in terms of intensity. Part 1 is the stuff that you should be doing just anytime you're not doing anything, just breathing, walking, working, you know, that's the stuff you just want to train your body to do. Part 2 is stuff you can do as recovery as a separate workout because there's weights and movement and loads involved. And part 3 is something that you may want to add in. Treat this kind of like a finisher or a Metcon, because your body is going to be using, is going to be in that oxygen deprived state the exact same way that it is, you know, during a regular Metcon or a finisher or strength session. So give these a go. If you have any questions about breathing ladders, panic breathing ladders, belly breathing, make sure you comment below. Check out the link. If you like this, I'd appreciate it if you like or share it, and subscribe to the videos, because now you guys know, and knowing is half the battle.
Genesis. Show my hardcore is, you know what I'm saying? Yo.